the chair of the Audit Committee. Extremely important role, as you know, because the financial integrity lies there. Not only, we're not talking about the relationship with the external auditors, we're not only talking about the financial reporting cycle, we're talking about the financial integrity of the entire organization. So to me, it's the most the most important chair, I mean, on the board. Some would argue maybe compliance is more important, maybe the executive, maybe the strategy, but no, I think the main nerve of the company is the finance function. So I personally feel that we have reached a stage in life in terms of complexity, and that includes corporates, that subject matter experts should be running functions. Just to be aware of a commercial activity, or just you having the experience and rely totally on your head of audit and totally on your external auditor is a major weakness for a company. So to answer your question, Shane, I would rather see a CPA actually, or a CIA certified, internal auditor, or whatever certification is necessary or is out there to be an effective, engaged chair. Otherwise, you're just an admin. You have to rely on the people around you, and you bring little value to the institution. Have I seen it a lot in personal life? No, I don't think. Maybe it's picking up now. I mean, right now we had a session at the conference where they're talking about certifications, and somebody said in the US and the EU they're pushing for certifications. I'm not sure about Asia and the Middle East, but it should be. You should be certified in the field that you are governing. Otherwise, you're just playing an admin function. So to answer your question, I haven't seen many, but I hope I see more in the future. The first thing I would be looking at is the relationship between the head of audit, which is the chief auditor, and the CEO. In many organizations, they still rely on the CEO and the head of HR to find the auditor or the chief auditor. So you're sending directly and indirectly a message that they're the bosses. It just can't be this way. The board has to be engaged themselves as members to deal with the executive search firm directly and bring the candidates, interview them, shortlist them, and hire them without the inclusion of the CEO. The head of audit should understand that he or she has been recruited by the board, and they are serving the board and the shareholders, and that they're gonna have collaborative relationship and partnership with the CEO. But they do not report to the CEO, and they should always feel that they have an open door, direct channel, continuously to the board. So that's basically my advice, and I still don't see this. I still see companies asking their CEOs and HR heads to go and find them a head of audit. Absolutely. From a very good question, Shane. From a governance point of view, the solid line goes directly to the board, to the chair of the audit committee or the audit committee. And there is a dotted line back to the institution or back to the HR head or the CEO, because the KPIs and the formatting and the policies and procedures governing the HR performance valuation and what have you have to be aligned with the institution. You cannot have two systems, one for compliance, risk and audit, and one for the other staff. So from an admin point of view, yes, they report to that function. But the actual content and the actual criteria, the KPIs, and eventually the bonuses and the performance evaluation, it has to be done by the board itself. No, they do. Workload, but not specifically because they're managing people. You've specifically mentioned performance evaluation. What I'm telling you is that performance evaluation, the load of it should be on the NRC, Nomination and Rem Committee. But in terms of load, absolutely. The Audit Committee has the biggest load. And one of the things that we still find here, I'm not talking about a specific country, but in the region, that the Audit Committee is never or is rarely given the enough time for its meetings. For example, we're holding our third or fourth board meeting. So let's have our audit meeting 1 hour before the board. Or maybe let's have it 2 hours before the board. You can't have that. The Audit Committee should have minimum half a day to review the numbers, make sure that we mentioned financial integrity, meet with the external auditors, meet with the CFO, meet with the head of audit, etc., and then the board would be ready maybe next day. But these back-to-back meetings, usually they backfire. And the Audit Committee ends up the audit board, the audit chair and the other members end up joining the board with a half ready or with half readiness. And that happens all the time.